Trump here, who has openly declared his intention to embrace trade wars. After taking oath as the 47th President of the United States, he's promised to impose tariffs and taxes on foreign countries. He stated instead of taxing U.S. citizens to benefit other nations, he will tax and impose tariffs on foreign countries in order to enrich U.S. citizens. But what is the viewpoint that is now coming in from France? Will Trump's tariff move bring Europe and India closer? As French diplomats spoke exclusively to our senior executive editor Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan, saying that if the United States coerces, then a lot on the ground may change.
What do you think Mr. Trump's return, though, signifies in terms of multilateralism?
I think the multilateral world is clearly under pressure and frankly at risk of not functioning anymore. I don't think the organizations themselves will disappear in a sense, but their ability to solve issues is really challenged right now, which means that first there is one course, which is to try to protect, of course, the multilateral arena and make it functional. We also need to acknowledge that reality, and that means more ability to work with close partners. And so that brings me back to my point on the fact that this bilateral relation between France and India is actually a key asset for both countries, because it allows us, by pooling resources together, diplomatic resources, defense resources, strategic thinking, to be able to have an impact on the world stage and make sure that we are not limited, let's say, to a US-China rivalry, because it's a richer context and we have a role to play there.
We're also talking about a time when there's a lot of talk around tariffs and, increasing protectionism. Do you think that's going to be the order of the day, or is it just positioning, ahead of polls?
Well, it won't come from us. Europe, we've been very open to increasing trade and cooperation with India. Yes, if tariffs are used as a kind of coercion tool by the US, it will change many things for Europe, for India, and so I would argue that comes in support of the case for stronger relations with the EU and with France. So I would advise Indian elites and students to look also towards Europe, because there is a friendly continent.
Now, Malvika, this is a question where lies as far as changing equations and dynamics, especially when it comes to the friendly nations, because he's been rattling off the key talking points as far as President Trump is concerned of his campaign. Do you believe which would have far-reaching effects and consequences when his administration, where he has announced, would deport millions and millions of undocumented migrants, tariff and tax foreign countries, and so on?
So let's look at these issue by issue. As far as immigration is concerned and illegal immigration is concerned, deportation is definitely on the cards. It was something that was done even under the prior administrations. But the magnitude of this deportation exercise and what would be the criteria for deportation is something that, it will really depend on the fine print, because remember that there are a lot of people who were born over here who are on the wait list for a green card, and these were children of green card holders, and now they're 21 years old and they haven't got their green card. So technically they are illegal immigrants right now, but will they be deported? It's not clear, and that's something that the Democrats are not going to support. So the Republicans and the Democrats will have to find some sort of consensus on the issue of immigration. As far as trade is concerned, today in his inaugural speech, Donald Trump laid emphasis on regaining the Panama Canal. Now, that is a sphere which is an important trade route where China's sphere, the influence is growing. And this is an issue which has bipartisan support. Both Democrats and Republicans feel that the undue influence of China on the Panama Canal needs to stop, because remember that it was the US that had spent billions of dollars to build the Panama Canal and then hand it back to Panama. So in the inaugural address, Donald Trump made it clear that US is going to take it back. Whether they'll take it back physically, or this is going to be an economic treaty that they're going to look at, will be a key point on the issue of trade. Tariffs, again, he has been talking about retaliatory tariffs, but Trump is a businessman at the end of the day, and there are several corporates who are closely working with Trump. Elon Musk himself is a businessman. And so to what extent will tariffs be imposed is again an issue that really needs to be thrashed out. But definitely this is going to be an area of focus. There will be tariffs. To what extent, I think, is anybody's guess.
Right, but he is also